Disgrace by J.M. Coetzee. Chapter 7. Once he has made up his mind to leave, there is little to hold him back. He clears out the refrigerator, locks up the house, and at noon is on the freeway. A stopover in Ootshorn, a crack of dawn departure. By mid-morning he is nearing his destination, the town of Salem on the Grahamstown-Kenton Road in the Eastern Cape. His daughter's small holding is at the end of a winding dirt track some miles outside the town. 5 hectares of land, most of it arable, a wind pump, stables and outbuildings, and a low, sprawling farmhouse painted yellow with a galvanized iron roof and a covered stoop. The front boundary is marked by a wire fence and clumps of nasturtiums and geraniums. The rest of the front is dust and gravel. There is an old VW Combi parked in the driveway. He pulls up behind it. From the shade of the stoop, Lucy emerges into the sunlight. For a moment he does not recognize her. A year has passed, and she has put on weight. Her hips and breasts are now, he searches for the best word, ample. Comfortably barefoot, she comes to greet him, holding her arms wide, embracing him, kissing him on the cheek. What a nice girl, he thinks, hugging her. What a nice welcome at the end of a long trip. The house, which is large, dark, and even at midday chilly, dates from the time of large families, of guests by the wagonful. 6 years ago, Lucy moved in as a member of a commune, a tribe of young people who peddled leather goods and sun-baked pottery in Grahamstown, and in between stands of mealies grew dagga. When the commune broke up, the rump moving on to New Bethsaida, Lucy stayed behind on the small holding with her friend Helen. She had fallen in love with the place, she said. She wanted to farm it properly. He helped her buy it. Now here she is, flowered dress, bare feet and all, in a house full of the smell of baking, no longer a child playing at farming, but a solid countrywoman, a Boervrouw. I'm going to put you in Helen's room, she says. It gets the morning sun. You have no idea how cold the mornings have been this winter. How is Helen? He asks. Helen is a large, sad-looking woman with a deep voice and a bad skin, older than Lucy. He has never been able to understand what Lucy sees in her. Privately, he wishes Lucy would find, or be found by, someone better. Helen has been back in Johannesburg since April. I've been alone, aside from the help. You didn't tell me that. Aren't you nervous by yourself? Lucy shrugs. There are the dogs. Dogs still mean something. The more dogs, the more deterrence. Anyhow, if there were to be a break-in, I don't see that 2 people would be better than 1. That's very philosophical. Yes, when all else fails, philosophize. But you have a weapon? I have a rifle. I'll show you. I bought it from a neighbor. I haven't ever used it, but I have it. Good. An armed philosopher. I approve. Dogs and a gun. Bread in the oven and a crop in the earth. Curious that he and her mother, city folk, intellectuals, should have produced this throwback, this sturdy young settler. But perhaps it was not they who produced her. Perhaps history had the larger share. She offers him tea. He is hungry. He wolfs down 2 block-like slices of bread with prickly pear jam, also homemade. He is aware of her eyes on him as he eats. He must be careful. Nothing so distasteful to a child as the workings of a parent's body. Her own fingernails are none too clean. Country dirt, honourable, he supposes. He unpacks his suitcase in Helen's room. The drawers are empty. In the huge old wardrobe there is only a blue overall hanging. If Helen is away, it is not just for a while. Lucy takes him on a tour of the premises. She reminds him about not wasting water, about not contaminating the septic tank. He knows the lesson but listens dutifully. Then she shows him over the boarding kennels. On his last visit, there had been only 1 pen. Now there are 5, solidly built, with concrete bases, galvanized poles and struts, and heavy, gorge mess shaded by young blue gum trees. The dogs are excited to see her. Dobermans, German Shepherds, Ridgebacks, Bull Terriers, Rottweilers. Watchdogs, all of them, she says. Working dogs on short contracts, 2 weeks, 1 week, sometimes just a weekend. The pets tend to come in during the summer holidays. And cats? Don't you like cats? Don't laugh. I'm thinking of branching into cats. I'm just not set up for them yet. Do you still have your stall at the market? Yes, on Saturday mornings. I'll take you along. This is how she makes a living, from the kennels, and from selling flowers and garden produce. Nothing could be more simple. Don't the dogs get bored? He points to one, a tan-colored bulldog bitch with a cage to herself who, head on paws, watches them morosely, not even bothering to get up. Katie? She's abandoned. The owners have done a bunk. Account unpaid for months. I don't know what I'm going to do about her. Try to find her a home, I suppose. She's sulking, but otherwise she's all right. She gets taken out every day for exercise, by me or by Petrus. It's part of the package. Petrus? You will meet him. Petrus is my new assistant. In fact, since March, co-proprietor. Quite a fellow. He strolls with her past the mud-walled dam, where a family of ducks coast serenely past the beehives and through the garden. Flower beds and winter vegetables, cauliflowers, potatoes, beetroot, chard, onions. They visit the pump and storage dam on the edge of the property. Rains for the past 2 years have been good. The water table has risen. She talks easily about these matters. A frontier farmer of the new breed. In the old days, cattle and maize. Today, dogs and daffodils. The more things change, the more they remain the same. History repeating itself, though in a more modest vein. Perhaps history has learned a lesson. They walk back along an irrigation furrow. Lucy's bare toes grip the red earth, leaving clear prints. A solid woman embedded in her new life. Good. If this is to be what he leaves behind, this daughter, this woman, then he does not have to be ashamed. There's no need to entertain me, he says, back in the house. I brought my books. I just need a table and chair. Are you working on something in particular? She asks carefully. His work is not a subject they often talk about. I have plans. Something on the last years of Byron, not a book, or not the kind of book I have written in the past. Something for the stage, rather. Words and music, characters talking and singing. I didn't know you still had ambitions in that direction. I thought I would indulge myself, but there is more to it than that. One wants to leave something behind, or at least a man wants to leave something behind. It's easier for a woman. Why is it easier for a woman? Easier, I mean, to produce something with a life of its own. Doesn't being a father count? Being a father. I can't help feeling that by comparison with being a mother, being a father is a rather abstract business. But let us wait and see what comes. If something does come, you will be the first to hear. The first and probably the last. Are you going to write the music yourself? I'll borrow the music for the most part. I have no qualms about borrowing. At the beginning, I thought it was a subject that would call for quite lush orchestration, like Strauss, say, which would have been beyond my powers. Now I'm inclining the other way, towards a very meagre accompaniment, violin, cello, oboe, or maybe bassoon. But it's all in the realm of ideas as yet. I haven't written a note. I've been distracted. You must have heard about my troubles. Roz mentioned something on the telephone. Well, we won't go into that now, some other time. Have you left the university for good? I have resigned. I was asked to resign. Will you miss it? Will I miss it? I don't know. I was no great shakes as a teacher. I was having less and less rapport, I found, with my students. What I had to say, they didn't care to hear, so perhaps I won't miss it. Perhaps I'll enjoy my release. A man is standing in the doorway, a tall man in blue overalls and rubber boots and a woolen cap. Petrus, come in, meet my father, says Lucy. Petrus wipes his boots. They shake hands. A lined, weathered face, shrewd eyes. 40, 45. Petrus turns to Lucy. The spray, he says. I have come for the spray. It's in the combi. Wait here, I'll fetch it. He is left with Petrus. You look after the dogs, he says, to break the silence. I look after the dogs and I work in the garden, yes. Petrus gives a broad smile. I am the gardener and the dog man. He reflects for a moment. The dog man, he repeats, savouring the phrase. I have just travelled up from Cape Town. There are times when I feel anxious about my daughter all alone here. It's very isolated. Yes, says Petrus. It is dangerous. He pauses. Everything is dangerous today. But here is all right, I think. And he gives another smile. Lucy returns with a small bottle. You know the measurement, 1 teaspoon to 10 litres of water. Yes, I know. And Petrus ducks out through the low doorway. Petrus seems a good man, he remarks. He has his head screwed on right. Does he live on the property? He and his wife have the old stable. I've put in electricity. It's quite comfortable. He has another wife in Adelaide and children, some of them grown up. He goes off and spends time there occasionally. He leaves Lucy to her tasks and takes a stroll as far as the Kenton Road. A cool winter's day, the sun already dipping over red hills dotted with sparse bleached grass. Poor land, poor soil, he thinks, exhausted, good only for goats. Does Lucy really intend to spend her life here? He hopes it is only a phase. A group of children pass him on their way home from school. He greets them. They greet him back. Country ways. Already Cape Town is receding into the past. Without warning, a memory of a girl comes back, of her neat little breasts with their upstanding nipples, of her smooth, flat belly. A ripple of desire passes through him. Evidently, whatever it was is not over yet. He returns to the house and finishes unpacking. A long time since he last lived with a woman. He will have to mind his manners. He will have to be neat. Ample is a kind word for Lucy. Soon she will be positively heavy, letting herself go as happens when one withdraws from the field of love. Qu'est-ce devenu ces francs polis, ces cheveux blancs, sourcils voûtés? Supper is simple, soup and bread, then sweet potatoes. Usually he does not like sweet potatoes, but Lucy does something with lemon peel and butter and allspice that makes them palatable, more than palatable. Will you be staying a while? She asks. A week? Shall we say a week? Will you be able to bear me that long? You can stay as long as you like. I'm just afraid you'll get bored. I won't be bored. And after the week, where will you go? I don't know yet. Perhaps I'll just go on a ramble, a long ramble. Well, you're welcome to stay. It's nice of you to say so, my dear, but I'd like to keep your friendship. Long visits don't make for good friends. What if we don't call it a visit? What if we call it refuge? Would you accept refuge on an indefinite basis? You mean asylum? It's not as bad as that, Lucy. I'm not a fugitive. Ross said the atmosphere was nasty. I brought it on myself. I was offered a compromise which I wouldn't accept. What kind of compromise? Re-education, reformation of the character. The code word was counselling. And are you so perfect that you can't do with a little counselling? It reminds me too much of Mao's China, recantation, self-criticism, public apology. I'm old-fashioned. I would prefer simply to be put against a wall and shot. Have done with it. Shot? For having an affair with a student? A bit extreme, don't you think, David? It must go on all the time. It certainly went on when I was a student. If they prosecuted every case, the profession would be decimated. He shrugs. These are puritanical times. Private life is public business. Prorience is respectable. Prorience and sentiment. They wanted a spectacle, breast beating, remorse, tears if possible, a TV show. In fact, I wouldn't oblige. He was going to add, the truth is they wanted me castrated. But he cannot say the words, not to his daughter. In fact, now that he hears it through another's ears, his whole tirade sounds melodramatic, excessive. So, you stood your ground and they stood theirs. Is that how it was? More or less. You shouldn't be so unbending, David. It isn't heroic to be unbending. Is there still time to reconsider? No, the sentence is final. No appeal? No appeal. I am not complaining. One can't plead guilty to charges of turpitude and expect a flood of sympathy in return. Not after a certain age. After a certain age, one is simply no longer appealing, and that's that. One just has to buckle down and live out the rest of one's life, serve one's time. Well, that's a pity. Stay as long as you like, on whatever grounds. He goes to bed early. In the middle of the night, he is woken by a flurry of barking, one dog mechanically without cease. The loth to admit defeat join in again. Does that go on every night? One gets used to it. I'm sorry. He shakes his head.